Episode 22.
22. In this episode, we talk about why you shouldn't kill anyone in Iceland unless you want the whole country to come after you. We also live stream on Instagram for a first, and we talk about what you shouldn't live stream if you don't want to get in trouble. And we talk about what booty base is.
Booty! El booty!
Gotta listen. So this is Vomiting at Rainbows, episode 22. It's a podcast where I tell you, my buddy Mike, things in the news that you haven't really heard anything about.
Mm-hmm.
And then you chew them up and spit them back at me.
Yeah, I'm kind of a Luddite. I do read things now and then, and I do see things now and then on the internet and social medias, but I'm not a total news freak. Like I don't really devour a lot of news.
Right.
You know, I used to read newspapers every day. I used to watch a lot of news every day, and I found that just made me more and more depressed.
Right.
So I try to avoid as much news as possible.
And that's why I'm here.
Yes.
To bring it all back around. And you know, last time we talked about clowns.
Yes.
And we kind of can't keep away from clowns, but last week I was watching. Do you ever watch the TV show Elementary?
No.
Okay. So it's like a Sherlock Holmes kind of knockoff. And this time they did something called prankvertising.
Prankvertising?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So the whole premise is, we talked about the clown guy who in Ohio had the black balloons, and he just stood under lights and gazebos, and he was advertising a movie.
Yeah.
They made an episode of Elementary. I think it's like on ABC or something, and it's episode 12, and it's called Drowned Clown.
Awesome. And it's about the clowns, the clown epidemic?
So, like, a clown gets murdered in the woods, and they find out that they start chasing another guy.
Was he a clown too?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
man.
They're like, why are you two? Do you know each other? What are you trying to do? And it turns out that they worked for some ad company called AdRupt.
Mm-hmm.
And they are a prankvertising firm.
So the guy really wasn't dead?
He was definitely dead.
Okay. Wow, that's like commitment to your job. Like,
exactly.
Okay, you want to get hired? Cool. This is what we're going to do for our prank advertising. We're going to kill you in the forest to get media for like a website.
Yeah.
Get clicks and hits and people aware of what's going on.
It sounds good.
Yeah, it's like one of those people that juggle the signs.
Right.
You know, it's like, listen, the juggling signs is awesome, but we're actually going to need you to run into traffic and try to dodge the cars to really get some publicity going. So could you do that? We'll give you an extra $5 an hour, and you can smoke weed on the job.
So they were doing it for some movie called Mr. Mangles.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting episode if you're...
Oh, so this really didn't happen. This is just an episode of Elementary.
It's just an episode of Elementary. There's nothing...
This is why I don't watch a lot of TV and news, because I get everything mixed together. Like, I'm like, confused. Is this real?
I know. So
I thought you were telling me like a real story here.
Yep. No real story. But we can jump right into a real story.
Let's do it.
All right.
Disappointed, Doug. I was all like excited about, what is it called?
Prankvertising.
Is that a real thing, though?
It is a real thing.
Great.
A bunch of real companies have done prankvertising for many number of products recently.
When I did morning radio, we did a lot of that, like where we'd send people out in their underwear to train stations.
Exactly, same thing.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so that's the whole premise of prankvertising.
It didn't work.
And what?
No, it didn't work. No one listened to our show. I don't think it got any listeners. If anything, I think it turned people off. we had this dude Ethan who was awesome. He was like he's still around. I see him on social media once in a while, but he was like 6'5", probably weighed about 450 pounds, albino.
Whoa.
Yeah, and we'd throw him out, and he'd be down whatever. Like, we'd be like, hey, man, we're going to give you tickets, and you can meet Muse. We need you to, like, walk around in your underwear and have people, like, sign you, or what? Like, ridiculous. He'd be like, okay, cool, man.
Right.
Down for whatever.
There was another guy on your morning show, and I feel like he was the same type of guy. But he would always do stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. There's been a bunch of them. Like,
yeah.
I don't remember, man. I don't remember a lot of stuff.
Didn't Hooman? He joined the show as kind of...
He was there before me, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been there forever.
Oh, okay.
That was like a whole other show. I was talking about my one at the Live 105.
Yeah, we won't talk about that one.
Yeah.
But so what do you think is the country that has the lowest murder rate in the world is?
The lowest murder rate in the world. The country with the lowest murder rate in the world. got to be. I mean, is it a country I've heard of?
The first one you haven't. The second lowest you definitely have.
I'm going to say the second lowest is Japan.
No. But Singapore.
Singapore, okay.
And then the first lowest is Liechtenstein.
Singapore makes sense because they have those crazy laws there, don't they? Where it's like if you steal something, I think they not only cut off your hand, but like your mother and your brother's hand.
Well,
it was really hardcore laws. Like it's super hardcore.
Well, remember that American who like did something like spit gum on a sidewalk?
Yeah, and they caned him.
And they caned him like it was crazy. And even the U.S. government tried to intervene, and he still got caned anyway.
They're like, yeah, whatever, man. Yeah, I mean, so that makes sense, right? I mean, and it's. I know a lot of people don't want to, look at this reality, but the harsher the consequences of people's actions, the less they're going to act that way. I mean, I don't really necessarily agree with that because I believe in things like freedom. In America. But it's the same thing. Like if what I'm trying to say is that there's better ways to enforce laws than like beat people to death.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's other ways you can do things, I believe, than be like, corporal punishment. But it's effective.
Right.
Clearly.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, they're the lowest.
Yeah. And you say Liechtenstein in Germany?
Yeah, Liechtenstein. It's not Germany. It's its own country. But it's close.
Oh yeah. You said countries.
Yeah. But the third lowest is Iceland.
I believe it. There's not a lot of people in Iceland. They have a super low population.
100,000.
There's what?
399,000.
In Iceland?
Yeah.
There's not even 500,000 people in Iceland?
Not even 500,000.
Is that even considered? Wait a second. That can't be right. Is that true?
It's true.
That's unbelievable. So the state of Idaho has like twice as many people in Iceland?
San Francisco, I think, has more than Iceland.
Wow.
The whole country.
I heard it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
I know the guys from Kaleo are from there. And of Monsters and Men, I think, are from Iceland. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, and Bjork. Isn't she?
Yeah. Bjork. The guys from Kaleo are great, though, because they film all their videos. Like one of them's in the base of a volcano in Iceland, and they film their next video on an iceberg in Iceland.
Right.
And then, like, you meet the guy, and you're like, oh, man, so what's it like to live in Iceland? He's like, I don't know. We moved to Los Angeles. He's like, why? Because it's warm. Like,
it's warm.
Yeah, it's like,
and not every single person that we know knows us.
Yeah.
Because that's like that's one of the big things that keeps the murder rate so low is almost everyone knows anyone.
Yeah.
And so when they have any sort of crime, so imagine this over the last year. So they've never had more than one murder a year.
That's unbelievable.
And they've gone several years without having any murders at all.
That's unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable, but it's also, you have to take in consideration the country, right? Like like you said, there's less than 500,000 people there. They probably just don't have it. I mean, they probably don't have like gun stores, right? I mean, they probably don't have a lot of things. They don't.
No one needs. There's not even but one group that has weapons.
Do they even have police?
They do, but they don't carry weapons.
They carry battle axes, man, because they're Vikings.
Yes, exactly.
I would love to go to Iceland. I have a friend that went. They said it was cool.
You never went?
I've never gone. No,
but you've hung out with Bjork.
I've hung out with Kaleo and of Monsters and Men quite a bit.
Oh,
so I feel like basically I know like if you break it down, I know what like almost 1% of the population of Iceland.
Probably do. And if you met their parents, then
it's like
and their friends, you probably met like more.
I like that. The thing is that the guys in of Monsters and Men, they're so cool. And I remember talking to them. They had a couple big records and stuff. And I'm like, so you think you're going to move to L.A. or New York? And they're all no. Like they're like, no way.
Yeah, it's too scary.
Yeah, they're all, this country sucks. Like they were full on, just like, dude, I can like go live on a farm in Iceland. I can like be low key. Like they were such fans of their country.
Yeah,
it was great. I was like, cool, man, right on.
Well, I mean, if you have that low of a murder rate and the places so I had heard that like when you go out in Reykjavik, the capital, like when you go out there, a lot of people don't let foreigners hang out with them, and they kind of distrust foreigners. And the only way you get to like hang out with people is if you know someone and they invite you to hang out. Because
did they have like some kind of crazy ritual where you have to drink like goat's blood and like sing a song to Odin or something?
Well, they send you out on a Viking ship.
Yeah. It's funny because we talked about all this kind of stuff, like Viking stuff, and I think the guy's name's like Raji or whatever the one dude's name is. He's so funny, and he's like, because the Icelandic, if you hear it spoken, it sounds like It's a very interesting language, and they were trying to teach me how to like some slang and stuff.
Right.
And I couldn't get it, but I would love to learn how to speak that.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I guarantee you, if you were a foreigner and you went over there, you could totally speak Icelandic. They'd be like, "All right, you're down.
yeah,
You're in."
Yeah, if you could.
Yeah.
And then I remember like a long time ago, there was like this Budweiser thing where they sent a bunch of Americans over from Budweiser.
Yeah.
And then they mocked them endlessly on the Icelandic SNL.
Yeah.
Because they came off the plane. They're like, "Why are you here?" And they're like, "Because the women are beautiful."
Yeah.
And,
What's up?
And of course.
Well, I'm pretty sure Iceland's, like we talked about, it's about Bjork, it's about Monsters and Men, it's about Kaleo.
Mhm.
And then like the other 500 bands in existence are all like black death metal.
Yeah.
Like black speed metal.
Well, that's the other thing is that.
Like, what's it called? Like black magic metal? What is it? What's the name of it? It's like
have no
black metal,
idea.
I think. It's like satanic, like crazy satanic heavy metal. Like if you think Slayer's satanic, it's like that to the nth level. Like it's all like I remember there was a story out of Iceland. It might have been one of the only murders in the last 10 years. It was like a death metal band, and I want to say that like the singer like went to prison because he like sacrificed someone in a forest and ate them. Like it was so crazy. Yeah. It was like Gorgoroth or like some crazy like Icelandic metal band. Someone will correct me.
All right.
But literally like the band was like the record was like I eat your face, and the guy like ate someone's face.
Oh wow.
Like after a concert in a forest. Or something like they have concerts in forests.
Yeah.
There, like satanic.
Well, I mean, you can get
stuff.
anyone anywhere in Iceland because, I mean, there's not a lot going on, I'm guessing.
I don't know. We should go. We should go do this podcast live.
We'll do a live podcast from Reykjavik. Right. So anyway, there's this 20-year-old girl, and I'm going to skip last names just because they're crazy hard to say.
Yeah, we'll try.
No, I'm not
Throw
even
some
going to
effort in
try.
there.
It'll just be.
Give us initials.
All right. So Birna, I think, is the girl's name, the
Birna?
20-year-old.
Sounds good.
And she's a sales associate. Everyone liked her in the town. She was a rarity. She was a redheaded Icelandic girl. And she lived in the capital. She went out partying one night on Kiss a Ginger Day.
Oh,
And
wow.
she was super excited because that's like, she thought it was her day, and she thought, people would be trying to kiss her.
Yeah, but that seems like a day. Like if I was a redheaded chick, I'd want to like lock myself inside. Like all these creepy drunk Icelandic dudes are gonna be trying to kiss you because you have red hair. Like that's like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about? Like that's kind of
That's what I thought. But she said she posted one of her last post on Facebook was 2 minutes until the end of the worst day of the year. And that was Kiss a Ginger Day. And I thought it was because she, everybody was trying to kiss her. But in reality, what had happened is no one tried to kiss her.
Oh.
And so she was really bummed.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so sad, man.
So sad.
She's
Heartbreaking.
all, people are gonna want to kiss me today, and everyone's like, get away.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So the next day, her parents didn't hear from her after partying all night. She was seen stumbling past a red Kia on CCTV, but people had noticed her kind of stumbling around because
This is the problem with having cell phones and like this. We're so connected right now. Like the fact that you can live stream stuff like this is that back in the day, when you were a kid and you went out and got wasted and disappeared for 2 days because you were just trashed.
Right.
Like your parents didn't really. I think like the rule was you waited like 3 days before you reported someone missing. It was something crazy.
Right.
Where nowadays, like if someone's not there within 6 hours, like people are like something happened.
Right.
I mean, remember that? Do you remember those days? It's like, oh, like I partied with Doug. I haven't heard from him for like 2 weeks. Oh yeah, he's probably hungover and probably hates us.
Yeah.
Probably remembering what we did to him while he was passed out and doesn't want to talk to us anymore.
I'm just gonna stay inside for a bit in a hermit hole.
Exactly.
But so the opposite happened in Iceland. Her parents didn't hear from her in the morning, and they called the authorities. The authorities immediately started looking for her. They started going through the CCTV footage. They saw her stumbling out of the last bar that her friends had seen her at.
Yeah.
And they saw her going past several cars.
A red Kia, you said.
One of them was a red Kia.
Yeah. I'm amazed they have Kias in Iceland. I thought they just have like one car or horses or something.
Yeah. Well, obviously, it's Vikings drawing you down the street.
Yes.
It's
Chariots.
Chariots. So they had started the largest search in decades. Like
Yeah.
they immediately launched a search of 775 rescue workers and volunteers.
Wow.
So when
Well, I mean, was it? Let me ask you this question, Doug. Was it because she was a redhead? It's like there's only 3 of them in the country, so it's like, oh my God,
we got to
can't
save
lose
the
a
one.
redhead.
We got to save the unicorn.
Yeah, is that did that have anything to do with it?
No, I think it was just because the parents were so adamant that
Something
she
happened.
she wasn't responding to her cell phone. There was pings off of her cell phone, but it wasn't being answered.
Yeah.
And then it shut off. And when it shut off, they were really concerned.
Yeah.
The rescue workers then, around 25 miles away in this small little port town, found her Doc Martens.
Oof.
And they had snow on them, which was really weird because she hadn't been anywhere there was snow. So
Wait. What do you mean?
like
Doesn't it snow in Iceland all the time? I mean,
No.
isn't it? No.
no, that's Greenland.
Okay.
It's the
true.
exact opposite.
So they find her Doc Martens on the streets, and they're covered in snow, although it's not snowing outside.
Right.
Okay, this is weird.
Yeah, so it was really weird. They started reviewing the dock footage of that town or that little area where they found the shoes, and they noticed a red Kia that was parked right outside the dock that was matched the description of the same red Kia
That she walked by.
Mm-hmm. And as you said, there probably weren't a lot of red Kias in Iceland.
And it was Redhead Day, so it's
Right, so there's a lot of red going on. So they found it parked next to a trawler, like a sea ship,
like a container.
Yeah. No, not a container ship, but this was like a shipping vessel,
Okay.
like a
like the Minnow, the SS Minnow.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like the SS Minnow. So they immediately started investigating the red Kia to see who owned it, and they found out 2 guys owned it, and they were on that trawler. So they started putting that together, and they immediately sent out a group of their special forces. And get this,
God.
guess what their special forces are called?
I don't know.
The Vikings.
The Vikings, really?
Yeah, and these are.
Is this real?
It's real.
Wow.
And
this
so
is
that's
service.
That's the one group that I told you before actually has guns.
Yeah.
No other member of the police force or anything
But
had
the special,
guns.
so if you need guns in Iceland, it's like it's like something like this, like a missing person. They could be in danger.
Yeah.
So they swarm on this boat.
Yeah. So they immediately put alerts out for the boat.
I mean, think about this, dude. Like, okay, you're a member of this Vikings law enforcement team in Iceland, and there's like no crime.
Right.
There's nothing going on. Like when something happens, you got to be so jacked and amped. You're like, we've trained the last 3 years for something to happen, and it's go time. And every knucklehead in that Vikings crew is just like, I'm going. They got their flash grenades, and they're just
they're ready to go.
They're ready to kick ass.
So the trawler was on its way to Greenland, and it had heard that they were looking for the trawler.
Yeah.
So and that the Vikings were coming out to meet the trawler.
Yeah.
And so they immediately turned around and started heading back to Iceland because they're like, we don't want any trouble.
Yeah, they don't want like a bazooka from some guy with an itchy finger. He's like, I've trained the last 6 months for this.
And so apparently they rappel onto the trawler.
Awesome.
And then they locate these 2 guys.
Yeah. And once the 2 dudes are like, dude, what? We're just getting high out on the bay. Chill out.
And they apparently start looking for the girl all over the trawler.
Yeah.
What they found was a bunch of drugs, but no girl.
Yeah.
And they pulled.
Do you think that's some type of Icelandic Viking black magic where they turn the girl into a pile of drugs, Doug?
They might have. I feel like that's the land of wonderment. It is.
Yeah, I watched the TV show Vikings, and so they do all kinds of weird magic
I've heard about
stuff.
this show. Is it good?
Ragnar Lothbrok? You've never seen Doug, come on, man. Who are you?
Is it good? My sister says it's amazing.
I wouldn't go as far as amazing.
All right.
But it's, for TV, it's good.
All right.
Some good battle scenes.
So anyway, they all land. They grab the 4 guys off of this vessel.
Yeah.
Fly them back to Iceland.
Yeah. They start waterboarding them and stuff. I mean,
no. But Greenland, on the other hand, is a country of about 58,000.
Man. Dude, I think we could go to Greenland and do some big things.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, 58,000 people. I think about this a lot. Like, like if you live in a big city and you're used to kind of living on around a higher population, you're exposed to a lot of things that, the fact is that smaller towns or smaller places don't necessarily have the access to what we have here. I would say if we can go to a place with a population of 58,000 people, it would almost be like we're 6 months in the future. Like we'd be ahead. Like the learning curve and the exposure curve would just be like just a little bit ahead.
Right.
We got to think of the opportunity to maximize that.
Right. Podcasting there, people would be like,
They would freak out at this. They'd be like, well, how is this happening?
Right. I don't think it's that backwards.
Praise Odin.
But
well, it's not that backwards, but my point is that if it's 58,000 people, right? Like, think about the smallest town you've been to in America. Like, kind of, if you want to say backwards or whatever, however you want to term that, label that.
Right.
Think about that. In a country of 58,000 people, like their small towns, even like it has to be even crustier. They probably still have like a water mill. They probably still wash their clothes with rocks, right? Because it's just that much more detached. I'm not putting it down.
No.
I'm just saying like that's how it is.
Right.
Like oh my God, we have a newspaper. This is amazing.
So pretty much everyone in Iceland or in Greenland knew who was on the trawler.
Because there's 58,000 people.
Yeah. So they all knew or knew someone who knew them.
Awesome.
So they started having vigils for the safe return of Berna, the girl.
Yeah. And they knew these dudes weren't bad dudes.
Well, they didn't know that. So these two guys, when they went through the Kia,
Quick question.
And I love that you did that while we're like doing a live stream, because I always think it's awesome when you raise your hand.
Well, this is the question. 58,000 people in Iceland. And someone has to fact check Doug on these numbers because they seem way, way too small for me. I believe you, but I'm just saying.
Dude,
it just seems...
I do. I'm like Trump. I get all my facts 100%.
Okay. It just, to me, it's hard to believe there's only 58,000 people in Iceland. My point is, if a country is that small, I'm sorry, Greenland, 58,000 people in Greenland, is it like these guys went there because they're like, what's happening this weekend in Iceland? They're having Redhead Day.
Yeah.
Let's get on the boat and sail over. Like, it's like such a big deal.
It must have been a huge deal.
There's so little going on.
Right.
That these dudes get on a boat and go to another country to party with the one redhead.
With the one redhead.
Wow.
So they started searching the Kia. And
Kias are small, man.
Yeah, they're small.
Shouldn't take too long to search that thing.
No. And they found evidence that the Kia they had tried to clean it. And that there were signs of a massive struggle in the car. There was blood in the car, and the blood matched Berna, or same blood type, or matched her. I'm not sure which, but at that point,
I'm really bummed out that the story's going this way. Not that I'm surprised, Doug. If people listen to this podcast, they know Doug always brings super dark stories to it. But it was so much fun talking about this,
right?
And now it's going to end up in like some kind of horrific event,
right? Well, and then the other thing that like shocked me about this whole thing. Remember, they all know that the Vikings are coming for them, right?
Yeah.
They're going to board their ship.
What would you do? Like sink the ship?
No, I wouldn't sink the ship.
Just
but if you were the two guys that were involved in the crime, wouldn't you try and get away from that vessel somehow? Well, you probably wouldn't get far.
The water's got to be so cold.
Yeah, but if you were the guy who had all the drugs on there,
I would just try to do them really quick,
or just get rid of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
quick. We got to do all these drugs right now.
Right now.
The Vikings are coming.
So I was just shocked they didn't dump all that in the ocean or something.
Yeah, okay, so these guys are idiots.
Right, basically. They're not. It's and that was the other thing they said is that in Iceland, the crimes are never complicated because no one tries to conceal the crime.
Yeah,
because they pretty much always know they're going to get caught.
Yeah.
So if you in every murder, it's solved in a very short time because no one conceals the crime.
And that's the thing. They probably have like state-controlled media there, so they don't show like Matlock or CSI because they're like, dude, people will learn how to break the law by watching these shows.
But Iceland is obsessed with like dark murder mystery, like horrific crimes. They love anything based on like
they would love this podcast.
Yeah, they would love this podcast. Yeah. Maybe this is our whole new demographic.
You know what? I would love to be big in Iceland.
We would be huge in Iceland.
I would love it.
If we got like 10 people, we'd be huge in Greenland.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, they figured out it was these two guys. They haven't said why she was murdered, but they found her body way down the coast.
So they threw her in the water.
Yeah, they threw her in the water. And the two guys who own the Kia are right now in custody for the murder. And then the other guys are one guy was released and found no involvement, and the other guy's in jail for drug smuggling.
People think you can just throw a body in the ocean and it's like, oh yeah, like I'll take care of it. What they don't realize is like forensic scientists can figure out like how the tides were.
Yeah.
Where like where the body's found, where it came from, like precisely within like 10 feet.
Yeah.
I remember when was it Scott Peterson?
Yeah.
In the Bay.
Yeah.
There's right up in Sausalito. There's a thing called the Bay Model that maps out the tides, when they come in, where they go out. If you put something in there, where it'll end up. And they went up there and they found out, like, they're like, okay, dude, like this is where the body started. This is where it was dropped off. This is where, like, they piece all that together. And there's a lot. This is the thing, man. If you're listening to this and you're thinking about committing a crime and dropping the body in the ocean, you have to remember that there are super smart scientists that study tides and study ocean currents, and that's just, it's not good. Like,
right.
Put that off your checklist.
Yeah.
It's so Icelandic.
Well, it's so Icelandic.
Such an Icelandic mistake.
Yeah. Well, and also, did you ever see Party Monster?
No.
It was the story of this like club kid. Macaulay Culkin played him, and
Sounds
Seth
familiar.
Green was his best friend. They killed this guy Angel and threw him in the ocean. And when they threw him in like whatever somewhere in New York, they threw him off into the water. But they put him in a box, and the box, as soon as they threw it in the water, they noticed that the box wasn't sinking. And they didn't want to jump in the water because it was too cold.
Yeah.
So they just let it go and thought it eventually would sink.
Yeah.
But it just like basically went around the corner and ended up like in a park.
Yeah.
And someone found it like within days.
Yeah.
And he didn't get away with it.
Yeah. The guy from what is that? What's the one with Dexter?
Yeah.
That guy had a pretty good idea.
Yeah, he had a great plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the name of his
He
boat?
weighed his stuff down. Slice of Life.
Slice of Life.
Was it?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Great show. So yeah, the head of the country said is trying to calm down the nation because it's such a one murder.
Such a peaceful place, man.
Yeah, it's such a peaceful place, and everyone's hysterical. Like they are all checking in all the time. They're all like checking on each other. No one's going out without buddies. Like it's.
Now,
even though they've caught the person,
they're just still freaked out.
They're freaked out.
Now, what's their judicial system like? Like the two guys that got caught. I mean, it sounds like a really peaceful place. Do they just kind of like put them in jail? Did they just ship them off to some? Did they ship them back to Greenland? Or is it like kind of like crazy where they do like a hanging or like some type of like pit of snakes or something?
No. So in Greenland, they don't have a single prison. So there's not a jail, and when somebody's incarcerated, they go to the incarceration like it's like a farm, and they work on the farm. Even if they've committed murder, they just sit on this farm, and they're actually released on the weekends, and then they have to come back and check in, and they all do it.
Yeah,
it's very different. It's actually geared towards rehabilitation, unlike our prison system.
Yeah,
and I think Iceland is somewhat similar, but I'm not positive.
Interesting.
They didn't really mention that in any article that I saw.
Interesting. I've always wanted to go to that part of the country.
All right.
Someday I'll make it.
We'll go do a live podcast from
like
there.
A Scandinavian world tour.
All right. I'm in.
Sweden, Iceland, some of those whatever those other countries,
Well, what was
Greenland.
the Frozen Day festival that we were going to go broadcast from?
Yeah, exactly.
Colorado?
Yeah.
We'll
go there. We'll throw that in there.
Yeah, we'll throw that in there. Sounds like a very similar town to Iceland.
Yeah.
The town sounds similar to the country of Iceland.
I can't wait till next time I see Kaleo and those guys. I'm gonna ask them all about this. I'm sure they'll know about it.
Oh, they're gonna definitely know about this.
What's the girl's name again?
Birna.
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 I'll just walk up to him. I'll go, I prayed for Birna. And they'll go, oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're like, oh, we totally remember the 4 times she came to our concert.
Totally.
Yeah.
Probably.
So since this is our first live stream, I think we should definitely discuss something that's been going on in live streaming. The last time we talked about the 12-year-old that heartbreakingly committed suicide on live streaming.
Yeah.
And then since then in Chicago, a group of kids kidnapped a mentally challenged man.
Oh.
They were black, he was white, and it was like they kind of said it was a Trump protest, and they just beat him up and robbed him.
Wait. Listen, here's the deal. I know there's a lot of people that are upset with like the political landscape of America. Like I get all that. You're frustrated. You're angry. Like I understand all that, but it's like not everything can be blamed on this guy.
Right.
And you being upset about the election. You can't just go out and like kidnap mentally challenged people and beat them up because you're frustrated about who the president is.
Right.
Like, that's not cool.
It's not okay.
It's not okay.
And then in Sweden, a girl last week was raped on Facebook by 3 other guys. And the police knocked on, like, while it was going on, the police knocked on the door and raided the house while they were live streaming it. So everyone saw.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's like the ultimate reality TV in all the worst ways.
In all the worst ways. So on another side of the spectrum is, have you ever been bet to, like, eat something like a bug or a?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right. So what were you bet to eat? What was the one you remember?
Man, there's probably been so many throughout the years. I remember one. I remember there was a piece of cheese on a dumpster.
Ooh.
This is going back to like when I was in high school.
But that's not a bug. It has to be an.
This is like a piece of cheese that was like it was like a piece of cheddar cheese that was on the side of a dumpster that was like, might have been there for like a month for all I know.
Right.
And we're sitting around.
So you feel like it was alive.
And this guy, eat that. And I ate the piece. I took a bite of it. It was pretty disgusting.
Right.
I think I made like $1 or something. But eat like things that are living, like swallow a goldfish or something.
Yeah.
For money or just did
just some money or dare.
I've eaten ants and stuff like that, but that's like more like for survival training, like
right?
Protein. That wasn't really like I don't know, man. You're stumping me right now.
All right. Well, there was this guy, Daniel Chalice. He's 24, and he was bet by his friend Cheryl Stevens, who was 27, that he couldn't swallow the office pet of the Crazy Horse Bar in the UK. It's in Pageton.
Okay, so this guy, I bet you can't swallow the office pet.
The office pet.
What is the office pet?
What do you think it was?
A hamster?
No.
I don't know. I'm asking you. I just asked you.
You got it. It was a goldfish.
A goldfish? Okay.
Yeah. So he swallowed the goldfish. He said he thought it was dead because it would swim to the top and then sink to the bottom.
Yeah.
So he thought it was dead, but obviously if it's swimming to the top, it was still alive.
I think I'd rather, if I had to swallow a goldfish, I'd rather it be alive than dead.
Really?
Yeah, because if it's dead, there's like bacteria growing.
It could be. I mean, sushi, a lot of sushi people eat it while it's alive.
Yeah.
They're like sweet shrimp. They'll kill it and set the head right in front of you, and it will be like alive, and then you eat the back of the fresh.
What kind of sushi places are you going to? That's fancy.
Yeah.
I roll to Safeway. They got nothing living, nothing moving at my Safeway sushi.
That's in Redwood City.
Really?
Is one of the ones. That's the first time I ever had sweet shrimp, and they did that. They set like the head.
Is that like a specialty? Is it super expensive?
No.
Seems like it should be cheaper because they're not even like killing it or cooking it.
No. It was not something that I was excited about. I prefer my shrimp cooked.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he did. He decided that he was going to stream this on Facebook.
How old is this guy?
24.
24?
But Cheryl was the one that streamed it.
Yeah.
And the British SPCA got like hundreds of calls about this.
Yeah, but what can you do? It's like too late. The fish is in the guy's stomach.
Right. Well, what they decided to do is they said it was clearly moving, and so he got animal cruelty charges. Both of them have animal cruelty charges against them.
Wow. I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah.
I don't think you should eat your pets. I mean, obviously that's wrong, but at the same time, I mean, it doesn't seem like it seems like a lot of people eat living things, right? I mean, like the difference
especially fish.
Yeah.
Like sushi is very common.
Yeah, the difference between eating a goldfish and like a cow isn't, I mean, it's all kind of in the same area.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And it's not really deemed like a pet. It's not like they ate a cat or their dog alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
see, the thing is like this is the thing that's so weird in the world we live in, right? Because, some people do eat those animals, as part of their culture. And it's like, so where's that line of where like, hey, like that's what these people have been doing for hundreds and thousands of years. Like that's part of their culture.
Right.
Like who am I to judge? Like, I don't know. Like that's what they do. That's, like, I mean, when horses were first brought over here from Europe, the Native American Indians, like they ate them. They thought they're like, oh, thanks for the food.
Right.
And because that's what people did. And I guess that's the argument is that, well, we're more civilized now. We shouldn't eat things, but people do, is my point.
And vegetarians especially are heartbroken. I'm heartbroken when you see something killed. Anyway, they're going to be charged on February 3rd, but it's not, I probably won't be a very stiff sentence, but it's just really odd that they're taking action against these, but it was solely because of the live streaming.
Yeah.
If they had done that,
done it,
nothing would have happened.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's the thing too is I think whatever you're live streaming, I guess that's the appeal, right? It enhances the experience. It makes it a more of a spectacle,
right?
Than if you're just hanging out with your buddies and you're like, hey, let's eat these fish, let's swallow these goldfish. Then it's just kind of for your private self. But maybe there's some type of law where if you're making it like a public spectacle. It's like if you want to eat a cat in the privacy of your own home, because that's what you do, that's fine. But if all of a sudden you do out in the middle of Times Square,
right,
and film it as an online cooking show, there's gonna be a greater sense of backlash.
Exactly.
But people can't understand that.
Right, and I think that people don't realize when they're, no matter the severity of the crime, whatever they're doing, if they're doing it on social media, people are going to see it, and especially police are going to see it.
Yeah,
and that's when it gets. You're going to get prosecuted.
Are we doing anything illegal here right now?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
No.
Good.
So yeah, that's the end of that story. There's not really more to it.
It's a tough one, but I think that is the interesting thing is that they're getting prosecuted for just doing kind of a 24-year-old drunk prank.
Right.
But
exactly.
Yeah.
So you obviously are in radio, and I have a new station for you. I think this is a new direction for you to go. Have you heard of 1069 in Clearwater?
Clearwater, Florida?
Yeah.
Man, I've been to Clearwater.
Have you?
Yeah. My grandma used to live there.
Oh, wow.
And it's pretty, it's pretty Florida-ish. It's on the Gulf side.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of old people.
A lot of old people.
Yeah. What's their twist? What are they doing?
Well, there's another station also that they're two together, like kind of like KFOG with here in San Jose and the whole Bay Area. So the other part is 92.5 in Safety Harbor, Florida.
Yeah.
And they're going to play 10,000 songs in a row to announce their new station. And its format is called El Booty.
El Booty?
Yeah.
I like it.
What do you think El Booty's format is?
It's got to be pirate music, right?
Pirate music. It's interesting you went that way. I didn't even think about that, but okay.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of history of pirates in Florida. I'm just trying to.
That is very true.
Is that what it is?
No, it's the official station for Latina strippers of Tampa Bay.
That's awesome. So basically, they're just playing like music to strip to.
Yeah, it's actually called Booty Bass. I don't know if you've
bass.
heard of Booty Bass music.
Booty Bass.
But it was pioneered in the 1990s. I'm not sure which bands they are, but they're hip hop, and it's kind of.
What's the thing out of DC?
Ooh.
Oh man, I can't remember it.
I'm from DC, and I'm like.
Yeah, it was like big in DC and Virginia, and it was kind of like it's like a beat, like it's a specific type of beat.
It's not
go-go.
Go-go, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Go-go. I totally remember that.
Yeah, that was like a big thing.
It was a huge thing in D.C.
And I don't know if it ever made it out to the West Coast, but anyone that I know from D.C., Virginia, they're like, oh, back in the 90s, go-go, man, that go-go beat. And they just go on and on about it.
Yeah.
But so maybe this is kind of the same thing. Like it's like booty bass. It's like a regional type of music that strippers strip to.
Mostly apparently Latina strippers.
Is that really their slogan? Like the official station for Latina strippers?
Their slogan and their logo is like a really accentuated butt.
Yeah.
Like kind of shaking.
That's awesome. I mean, listen, radio is a very, very wacky business, and it's a very competitive business. And people, that put on radio stations, they're always looking for some type of edge. They're always looking for some type of – they're trying to create a new piece of the pie to get listenerships.
Right.
Anyone to listen. And, they probably look at the population. Maybe there's a ton of strippers. Maybe it has like the highest per capita of strip clubs in the entire nation, Tampa Bay. Like, I don't know. I'm just imagining how I would come to this conclusion that this would be a good idea for a format. But maybe it is. Maybe there's like more, strip clubs in Tampa Bay than anywhere else. And that's what everyone does. So they're going to be the soundtrack to it. I mean, it sounds interesting. I mean, I'm sure it'll get a lot of. The interesting thing about stripper music, right, is like girls like to dance to funky jams, if you will,
right?
And guys like girls that dance to funky jams. So
right.
you're. It sounds kind of wacky, but it kind of makes sense. It's like a station that guys and girls will be into.
Yeah, well, they're calling it El Booty for the 10,000 songs, and they're going to rename it Playa Tampa. And then
I kind of like El Booty because it's hard to take it serious, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, if I won like a T-shirt, like if I listened to El Booty, right, and I had like an El Booty shirt on, like that's a classic T-shirt. That's a straight up classic local shirt. Like if I'm walking through the airport and I'm from Tampa and I'm in Dallas, Texas, and I see someone with an El Booty shirt, I'd be like, "Yo, El Booty!"
You'll know exactly what it is.
Yeah,
now.
You know what I mean. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so you'll have to talk to Nino Fernandez. He's the program manager. So you got to line up that job right now.
Yeah.
at Playa El Booty.
That's what's so rad about radio, though. It's like at some point, that guy, if this is super successful, like in the industry, they'll be like, "Oh my God, that's Nino. He's the dude who's behind El Booty." That'll be like a serious conversation. Like I've gone to radio conventions, and that's the kind of conversations that happen. Like, "Oh my God, that's Doug the Slug. That's the guy that ate that dog on the air. Oh man, it was genius.
That was genius.
Yeah, it's like
it was amazing.
Yeah,
the goldfish. He live streamed it.
Exactly, he live streamed it. He got arrested for it. It was rad.
Yeah.
That's awesome. El Booty power.
Yeah, so this is Vomiting Rainbows and our first ever live stream.
That was exciting, Doug. I really think it made us be on our A game tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And contact us at vomitingrainbows.com and find us at We Vomit Rainbows on social media. And that's Facebook, Instagram, which we're live on. And,
there are so many social media platforms, I can't even keep track of it.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming.
And then please rate and review us on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.